give you feedback on the last client you saw. Tell me, Saka, what do you think you have done well and where can you improve?
Constructive feedback is incredibly important as a communication tool, particularly in training. It helps identify what can be changed by the person exhibiting a particular behavior. It is important because once a person has this information, they can make a decision about how they will be able to change the behavior or elicit help to change the behavior. Constructive feedback is information specific. So give the description of what you either saw or heard in specifics, nothing vague. The more specific information you give to the person, the more they're able to understand what might need to be changed and what solutions might work. Issue-based part of the definition of constructive feedback looks at identifying the behavior and then exploring with the learner what the behavior that needs to be improved means. When we think about constructive feedback, we're talking about observations. What did I see? What did I hear? Sometimes, what did I feel as a result of what I saw or heard? And so the observations are objective.
I noticed that you held the syringe at the base of the needle.
Giving constructive feedback ensures that a trusting relationship is established, and that can be done by ensuring that you respect the person you're giving the feedback to. We use the word constructive because we're building on what the person already brings to a situation. And we want to build on what they already know and move them up another level. So the constructive part of it is to reinforce the positive and give value to the person who is actually learning. The aim is to communicate in a way that is non-threatening. When a person feels threatened, their anxiety hormones circulate. And when they feel afraid, their brain shuts down. They can't hear anything, and they won't be able to process any information that you give them. In many settings, learning has been associated with embarrassment, and it puts people on the defensive, and it makes them feel bad about themselves. Constructive feedback is offered in a way that reinforces a person's self-esteem and eliminates the sense of anxiety. Choosing the appropriate time is critical. You want to choose the time where the setting is calm, where you are able to have an unrushed conversation with the person you're giving the feedback to. Ensuring privacy is the other aspect of building that trusting relationship. Nobody wants to be embarrassed or shamed. So if we're going to give feedback, we want to do it in a private space. The way to give constructive feedback is a thing we call the sandwich formula. The sandwich formula has 3 parts, just like a sandwich. Your first part is specific and honest sharing of what the person did well. We want to reinforce acceptable behavior or practice to standard, so it will continue. The second part of the sandwich in the middle is what needs to be improved. You want to be specific, and you want to ensure that the person understands what you're describing and the implications that those performances that are not to standards would compromise the well-being of clients. Lastly is the overall positive experience that you've observed of the person's practice.
Your client's visit was thorough and complete. You answered the client's questions accurately. I appreciate your openness for feedback.
It is very important to reinforce positive practices as well as identify those that need to be changed. You want to engage the person in their self-assessment. Self-assessment is a way of increasing a learner's awareness about their capacity and what they can do and what they may have issues with to strengthen their learning.
I will do as I promised, and I will also review those literatures you recommended.
That's awesome.
When we're receiving feedback, it's very helpful to be open to receiving that information. You're being given specific information that will help you and become your tool for improving your practice. If you're open to receiving that information, then you have a toolbox that will help you over time be a better practitioner.